wrestling fans. My name is Brian Crazy, and you are watching the F brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. Thanks for tuning in once again. I am back with my TNA Impact Wrestling review for June 7, 2012. And before we begin, please check out the official website of the F brand at FightNationWrestling.com, my new Twitter at BrianCrazy2001, and also my new channel, the channel that you're currently watching this video on, Fight Nation Wrestling, and please subscribe. So we start off Impact with a video package recapping the situation between AJ Styles and TNA President Dixie Carter. And then we see some footage from last week's Impact, actually after Impact went off the air, of Dixie Carter flipping out in the production truck and trying to find out who is responsible for this footage being played. Then we start off Impact with Dixie Carter in the ring, and she says that the truth needs to be told. She says a lot of people get hurt, but the truth needs to come out. This is when she's interrupted by Kazarian and Daniels, and Daniels and Dixie end up sharing words. Daniels ends up shoving Dixie into the corner after Dixie puts her hands on Daniels. Daniels says, "I don't know who you think you are," and this is when AJ Styles makes the save. Both Kazarian and Daniels quickly exit the ring, and then we see Dixie's husband, Serge, make his way into the ring, and he actually lays out AJ Styles with one knockout blow. Then we go into before we even go into the first match, I actually think this was a great opening segment. I think it's really setting the tone for the storyline between Dixie Carter and AJ Styles. Now, Dixie Carter has always been reluctant to be on air. She is a great behind-the-scenes personality. She is great in what she does behind the scenes. But when it comes to being an on-air personality, you can always tell she's been a little uncomfortable. And especially with a situation like this, the first couple of weeks, you could tell that maybe it wasn't being played off, to the fullest extent. But I think she's really starting to get into her role, and I think this storyline is really starting to take off. Then we go into the first match of the night. We see the undefeated Crimson go against Austin Aries, and before this match even starts, Austin Aries and Joe have some words. Joe thinks Austin Aries is talking some smack about him, and Austin Aries says, "Hey, if I was talking about you, you would know it." And then he kind of, just ticks him off a little bit. Joe ends up interjecting himself in this match, and Crimson remains undefeated. Post-match, he cuts a promo and issues an open challenge for the Slammiversary pay-per-view. Then we go into an in-ring segment with Hulk Hogan, Robert Roode, and Sting. And ends up a brawl. Sting and Robert Roode end up fighting it out. And then we go into the knockouts backstage with Brooke Hogan. Brooke Hogan says that she is going to help gain media exposure for the knockouts, and she's gained a spot in the music video for one of the knockouts. She chooses Velvet Sky, and it's a country music video that Velvet's going to be involved in. And you can tell Mickie James takes some exception to this. Mickie James has been trying to break out as a country star for many years, and I think she really would have coveted this role maybe a little bit more than Velvet Sky. Then we go into four-way knockouts action to determine the new number one contender for Gail Kim's knockout title at Slammiversary. And speaking of Gail Kim, she is on commentary throughout this match. We see Brooke Tessmacher pick up the upset victory over the other three knockouts, Tara, Mickie, and Velvet. Then we go into the contract signing for the Slammiversary pay-per-view. We see Joseph Park and Bully Ray both make their way down to the ring. It looks like Bully Ray doesn't really want to fight Joseph Park, but it ends up evolving that they will fight, and I believe it's supposed to be a no disqualification match. Bully Ray wasn't happy with fighting him in just a standard wrestling match. Then we go into television title action. I really like that the television title is being defended on a weekly basis. Reminds me when I was younger of the old NWA, WCW days. We see Devon pick up the win over Robbie E., and Devon was accompanied by Garrett Bischoff, and Robbie E. was accompanied by Robbie T. Then we go into Hulk Hogan in the ring. This is the second time we've seen Hogan tonight. He's been trying to get this announcement out for the whole night. But he's then interrupted by Mr. Anderson, Jeff Hardy, and RVD. And then Hogan announces that these three competitors will battle it out at the Slammiversary pay-per-view to determine the new number one contender, and they will go on to face the winner of the World Heavyweight title match between Sting and Robert Roode. Regardless of who the winner is, they will face the World Heavyweight champion. And then we go into the main event. It's supposed to be Sting, AJ, and Angle versus Kazarian, Daniels, and Roode. But when AJ's music plays, he doesn't come out. And there was a little bit of a phone conversation earlier in the night between Hulk Hogan and AJ. And Hulk Hogan basically called him a son of a bitch and told him that he needs to get his ass back to the arena. And AJ does just that. He comes back in and helps secure the victory for his team. Sting ends up picking up the win for his team with the Scorpion Death Lock. I thought it was a pretty good night on Impact. Would I like to see things maybe a little bit different? Yes, but the problem is a lot of fans, I think, are expecting to see full-length pay-per-view quality matches on the weekly ad-supported television shows. These matches are further the build towards the pay-per-view. If they gave us the match right on TV, why would we buy the pay-per-view? I think it's a thing a lot of fans got to keep in mind. and especially the way that pay-per-view sales have been going lately, not only for TNA, but also for WWE. They got to make them as stacked as possible, and they got to make them so what you're seeing on TV is just a taste of what you're going to get at the pay-per-view. I thought it was a great product nonetheless. I really do enjoy TNA's Impact Wrestling. I have for many years now, and I think they're really starting to heat up. They were in a little bit of a slump, and even last week's show, it was the first live show, and I really felt that Brooke Hogan didn't come off very well when there was executive as the Knockouts. I really felt like maybe some of the matches should have been rearranged, but then once I watched the whole show, once I saw it again on replay, I think they did a pretty damn good job, and I think this week they did a pretty damn good job as well. And now it's up to you guys. You got to hear some of my thoughts now. I want to hear yours. Please drop them in the comment box below. I can't wait to hear your feedback. Thank you for bearing with my voice. I kind of sounded like Hulk Hogan did throughout the night. The weather here in Connecticut has been absolutely crazy. It's been 80 degrees one day, 60 the next, and it's just wreaking havoc. So thank you for bearing with me. Can't wait to hear your feedback. I will catch you later for the effing brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. My name is Brian Crazy. Have a great night.